Hello, I am so glad you can join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Happy Easter to each and every one of you. He has risen. It is Easter, and I just want to wish each and every one of you a happy Easter. Today, I am making my Easter dinner. I'm making full course meal today, and I hope that you can join me while I make that. I will be making lamb stew, or you can call it mutton stew. That's another name that we call it. But I'm making lamb stew today, and I have some ingredients here that I'm going to be adding to the meat. Now my meat is all clean, and I'm telling you, when you're cooking lamb have a lot of fat. So you have to take some time and cut all that fat off, because you really don't want to be cooking all that fat. So I was able to do that. This meat is clean, and now I'm going to go ahead and add all my favorite spices to my meat. You can also add your favorite spices. Whatever your spices are, you can go ahead and do that. You don't have to add the same exact thing that I'm adding, but I'm just giving you an idea of how I prepare my meat, okay? Now, I'm from the Caribbean, and one thing that I grew up with my grandmother, and one thing a lot of those old people did is they never really measured stuff. They just add. So like my grandma would say, just add a little pinch of that, a little dust of that. They never measured the amount of things. So you would say, you know, and those old people really didn't teach you how to cook. So you just kind of watched them and you did your thing. So you would say, some people say, you know, they took their recipes to the grave with them when they died. But it's not really that. It's that those people just didn't know. They just had things in their head. Things weren't written for them. So really they didn't know measurements of stuff. So today we're not going to measure stuff, but I'm going to give you an idea so you would know when I'm cooking, you don't have to measure everything. You can just harvest stuff. So we're going to harvest things today, okay? So I have some meat here. As I told you, I have some lamb or some mutton, whichever you prefer to call it. And I'm going to season this up because we're going to make a stew. So the first thing I have over here that I'm going to add to it is some all-purpose seasoning. I just put some in here. And look, we're just going to sprinkle. We're not going to overdo it. That probably is maybe a couple tablespoons. We're going to sprinkle some in there. I have some curry powder. I tend sometimes to add curry powder to my stuff because I just like the flavor. So I'm going to add a little curry powder to that. This is some paprika. So we're going to add a little paprika to that as well. Just add some. And over here I have some onion powder. I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle some in here. We just sprinkle in. And I'm not going to add salt because sometimes people, you know, heavy-handed or not, and they get afraid they may end up adding too much salt to this. So I'm not going to add salt to this. But when it's finished and we can taste it, we'll taste it and see if it needs salt. Because all this stuff has salt in it. So we don't want to over salt stuff, okay? So this is garlic powder. So I'm going to add a little garlic powder to this as well. I'm just sprinkling just like my grandmother did. I have some black pepper here. If I can get it open without breaking my nail. Some black pepper. We're going to sprinkle some black pepper to it as well. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. This is some red pepper flakes. We can sprinkle some if you don't like spicy. A lot of my friends don't like spicy. Just leave out the pepper flakes, okay? I have here turmeric. I like to use turmeric. Turmeric is very good for you. You can just use a little bit of turmeric because it gives it that deep yellow color. But turmeric is good. It heals you from the inside out. So add it to your food. Sometimes I make a tea with it, you know, and you can do that. I have here some garlic, some minced garlic. Instead of chopping garlic today, I'm going to use a little minced garlic. I have a little spoon here. I'm going to take a little minced garlic and put it in there. You can make this overnight and just put it in the refrigerator. I just put some hot sauce in there. Oh, Okay, let me start that. This is some ketchup I put in there. Now, the last thing I'm gonna put here, I think I put everything I have there. This is some browning, okay? And I like to give my meat that nice dark color. So I'm going to put a little browning in there. You can always add more later if you like. And then let's just mix this all up. Get another spoon to mix it up. You mix this up. Combine everything. And once you've done this and you mix this up well, you can, you know, this is your marinade right here. You can put this in the refrigerator, cover it, let it stay overnight. The next day you get up, you could start on this, or you can put it on for an hour, 15, you know, however long you have, you can do that to marinate. Once we finish seasoning our meat, we set that aside. Now I have over here, this is 1 large onion that I chopped up, and this is about 5 fresh garlics that I chopped up. So let's go over to the pan and let's get started on making our stew lamb. In my pot, I will add about 2 tablespoons, roughly around there, of oil. This is olive oil that I'm using. And I have some butter here. I put a little butter in there. I have my garlic that's chopped up. I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and put my onions in as well. Put all that in there. So I'm going to let this onion stay here for a couple minutes and saute. You put your stove at medium because you don't want your stove to be too high. So you leave your stove at medium. And then I'm going to add all this meat to that. I'm not adding any liquid as yet. I'm going to set this bowl aside. This bowl I'm going to set aside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little water to that bowl and pour the water in here just to get all that seasoning out. But right now I'm just going to leave this for a few minutes. I'm not going to add anything to it. And let it come to a little boil, and then I'm going to add a little water to it. I'm going to go in with my water and add a little water to that. And this is about the amount of water in here. I'm going to just put the cover on here, and then it will be back as soon as this starts to cook a little bit. Okay guys. Ooh, this is a stew right here. I just added a little bit of water because some of the water dried out a little bit. So I added some more water to it because, as you can see, the meat is still not cooked. It's a little firm. I like my meat falling off the bone, so we can let that continue to cook for a while. I completely forgot to check the time I put it on, so can't tell you exactly how long it's gonna take, how long it took, because I didn't time it from the beginning. This is my mac and cheese that's done. This is gonna go into the oven when the meat is cooked, because this is just gonna take like 30 minutes. It's just gonna be brown at the top because everything else is cooked. And over here I have my rice on, and as you know me, I like a potato in my rice. It's a yellow potato, so that's the rice there that is gonna be drained down a little bit. Okay, so we will be back in a little while so I can show you the finished results. Okay guys, this is the stew here. I went ahead and I add, these are some lima beans. I forgot to, you know, put on the camera, but I added some lima beans, just a little bit. Okay, I also added a little more water to this because some of the water dried out, and I'm gonna also add a little more to it. In here I have some potato, I have some green peppers, I have some tomato, and I have some carrots. Just like 1 small carrot. I did like half of a potato, and half of a green pepper, and half of an orange pepper. I'm also going to cut up a little celery and put in here, and I'm going to add a little more water to it, not too much water. Add a little more water so that this will continue to cook, and as soon as all the vegetables in here is soft and cooked, It's just gonna be about ready because the meat is almost cooked, okay? So I'll be back as soon as this is all done so I can taste it and tell you if I need to add anything else to it. My mac and cheese is done over here. Yeah, over here I'm making some snow peas. These are some sugar snap peas. I don't know if you guys like those beans, but I love them. That's all I have in there is a little bit of butter. I'm going to saute it in a little bit of butter, and that's it for that. Now let's check our lamb stew and see how this is doing. I think this is done now. Looks good. Meat is tender. See, the meat is tender. So now I'm gonna go ahead and taste it to see if I need to add maybe a little bit of salt, because I didn't add any salt earlier. So now I'm going to taste it. I'll just get a little more spoon. Yeah, let me taste it. Okay guys, it tastes good, but it need a little bit of salt. Since I didn't put any in earlier, I'm just gonna put a little bit. But I can taste a little pepper. I put a little bit of that what's that called again? I put a little bit of pepper in it, and I can taste the pepper, but it's good. But if you don't like pepper, don't put pepper in it. Perfect. Ooh, girl. I saying girl because it's more than girls, it's guys that watch. Sure too. Guys, this is good. Guys, I can taste the flavor of everything I put in there. It's really good. So this is done. I'm going to turn my stove off. My rice is done. My mac and cheese is done. I'm going to work on my beans, and I will be right back. Guys, meal is all done. I made a full course meal here today. Over here, as you can see, I made lamb stew. Oops, the spoon is falling there. Lamb stew. And just remember, when you're cooking lamb, it tends to have a lot of oil, so you can kind of dip off the top of the oil. Over here, I have a mac and cheese that I did, or I should say macaroni pie. Over here, I have some green peas, green pigeon peas and rice. And over here, I have some snow peas. Okay? So, everything looks delicious. This is my Easter dinner. I hope each and every one of you have a nice meal for Easter. If you don't have a meal, I pray that God would nourish your bodies. Today is Easter. I didn't go to church today, but I stayed home and I listened to the word online. Okay? So I hope you guys had a chance to do that as well. Let me go ahead and serve this meal and taste it and tell you exactly what it tastes like. I'm going to start by tasting a little bit of the rice. This is some thyme that was in the rice. Oops. So I'm just tasting a little bit for you. This is my lamb here. There's a lot of stuff that went into the lamb. As you see, I put some lima beans in there. It has, I like my gravy on top of the rice. So I'm going to put some gravy on the rice. Very good. And let me take a little mac and cheese. Now you may say, wait a minute, I didn't see her make that stuff on camera, but I didn't. The reason I didn't make it on camera is because I already have it up there from a previous video. So if you want to know how to make that, I'm going to try to remember, because sometimes I say I'm going to do it and then I forget to leave the link for you so that you can see how to make mac and cheese from scratch, and you can also see how I made green peas and rice from scratch. Okay, and a couple of my beans I'll put here. And this is my Sunday dinner, and I'm gonna go ahead and taste it and tell you what it tastes like. But the main thing is the lamb stew, to see how that tastes. Lamb stew or mutton stew? Let's see. That is good. The meat, I cooked it till it was nice and tender. To tell you if your meat is finished, you just stick a fork inside of it. If it feels nice and soft and it's falling off the bone, then it's done. And that's how I like to cook my meat. So that's exactly how it is. Oh, see, it want to get away from me, but you can't get away from me. I'm right here. Guys, if you've never had lamb stew before, that's an easy way to go ahead and make it. If you put your stove on low and let it take its time and cook, if the water starts to dry out, just add a little more water to it. Let the water come like just to the base, not above, just at the base, because you don't want a whole lot of liquid in there. And you know, add whatever you want to it. Okay, this was fun, guys. I had fun making this. I hope you have fun making some for your family as well. Don't forget to share the video, like the video, and subscribe to the video. Leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. Until next time, bye-bye.